Hey everybody, I'm Sean, Somm Wine Guy, and I have got some wine for you. This is the 2021 Quinta Ameal Loureiro. This is from the Lima subregion of Vinho Verde in northern Portugal. I have fortunate enough to have visited Quinta Ameal when I was in Vinho Verde last year, and I've got to say, it's one of the most stunning and natural estates that I have ever visited. The estate is right on the banks of the Lima River. If you're standing on the kind of crush pad near the winery and you're just silent, you can hear birds and you can hear the water running from the river. It's about a 30-hectare property, of which 14 is planted to vineyards. The rest is ancient forests, is 200-year-old chestnut and walnut and oak trees. And it's no surprise to me, and I'm sure it's no surprise to anyone else that's tasted these wines, that they have a connection to nature that only comes from a place that is set up in such a way that they've integrated the vineyards and the estate into the surrounding landscape. So the estate's been around since the early 1700s. 1710 is the earliest record of the estate. But by the 1980s and 1990s, the estate was in a total state of disrepair. It was purchased by the Ramos Pinto family of Porto. So the family that started Port Ramos Pinto purchased the estate in the 1990s and started restoring it, started bringing it back to its former glory. It had been various things over the centuries, from agricultural to farming. There's cow sheds on the property where they used to have dairy cows. And now they have restored the property and in 2019 sold it to the Estoril wine group from Alentejo in southern Portugal. So the winery is now in the hands of Estoril, a fantastic winery from southern Portugal, and is really stepping into a new chapter in their lifetime. Being in Lima, which is the birthplace of the Loureiro grape variety, which is a very important variety to Vinho Verde, but a less known variety to Vinho Verde. So it's home being in Lima. They focus only on Loureiro. So they don't do Alvarinho, they don't do Arinto, they don't do any of the other kind of supporting cast varieties that are planted around the rest of Vinho Verde. This is all Loureiro all the time, and I'm so happy that they do because this is just a stunning wine. So 2021 vintage, Loureiro tends to be kind of lower alcohol, higher acid, very floral, very pretty. I've tasted this wine a number of times, but let's do it together. So, I love sharing Vinho Verde like this because it totally decimates people's perception of what Vinho Verde is or was. The light, cheap, sweet, fizzy, uninteresting, like quaffable, but not particularly unique white wine of Portugal. And Vinho Verde in the last decades has changed considerably, has grown a lot, and is now stepping onto the world stage with a brand new persona and a identity forged by great producers like this. So the nose is lots of white peach, tree fruits, like ripe apple, ripe pear, and this underlying floral character, a little bit of nuttiness. This wine spends 12 months on the lees in stainless steel tanks to add kind of texture and that yeasty character to being in contact with the lees. But as soon as you get it into your mouth, it's like being punched with citrus. It is lemon lime, it is grapefruit pith, it's got this real tang to it. It's mouth-wateringly juicy. Like it's like a waterfall inside my mouth right now. And then on the finish, you get this kind of rocky, stony, mineral-rich backbone to the wine, which kind of just supports all of that citrus and floral and like almond or peanut shell nuttiness to it. it's so textured too, rather than just being like all acid all the time. You get the acidity first, it makes your mouth water, it's juicy, and then as the wine kind of dissipates from your palate, you're left with this textural element, this uh, tackiness and extract, which gives the wine like a chew almost, with so much complexity to both the nose, the differential between the nose and the palate, the texture, the acidity, the freshness. Very moderate alcohol. This is only 11.5% alcohol. So you can drink a bottle and totally not realize that you've drank a bottle, which is a good or a bad thing. I'm not sure. But the way that this would interact with food is just phenomenal. You can do traditional Portuguese if you want to do like salt cod bacalhau or things like that, uh, natas, or I like playing with dry Vinho Verde, dry aromatic whites like this with other aromatic cuisines. So doing like a really crunchy Vietnamese banh mi or a Mexican torta or even like fish tacos, hard shell tacos. You get that crunch, you get that saltiness to it. You could do like mildly spiced Indian curry, like a lentil dal or something like that, or just drink it. There's so few limits to what you can do with a wine that has this much complexity and this much interesting character that it's worth having bottles on hand all the time just to be able to pull it out and play with it and see and kind of work through your own palate's understanding of this wine and other food. So there you go. That's the Quinta Ameal Loureiro. I'm Sean, Somm Wine Guy. This is Somm Wine Club.